We're never getting out of this one. Hello and welcome back to another Mad Merlins unboxing. And today we're taking a look at the newest Warhammer Underworlds starter set, Nethermaze. So first up, what is Warhammer Underworlds Nethermaze? Well, Warhammer Underworlds itself is a skirmish battle game where you pit warbands against each other for seeking fame and glory in the different underworlds of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar universe. We've dived deep with Harrowdeep, and now we're going even deeper to an underwater maze called the Nethermaze. Have a quick look at the back of the box. So we get 9 easy build models. We got the Shadeborn Fighters with Slafale Shadestalker here, and then my personal favourite, the Skittershanks Claw Pack with Slink Scattershank here, a nice new updated Eshin themed warband for the Skaven. We also get 4 double-sided fighter cards for the Shadeborn, 5 for the Claw Pack, 32 Shadeborn cards, 32 Claw Pack cards, 48 Universal Power and Objective cards to enhance your own decks, plus 36 Grand Alliance Power and Objective cards. So these ones are exclusive cards that can only be used by a specific alliance. So you'll have ones that are exclusively to death, exclusively to destruction, but they can be used by any warband. So they might mimic cards that are exclusive to another warband, but are now not as limited because it has the alliance ability as opposed to a warband ability. We also get a 52-page rulebook, so your full rules for playing Underworlds. 2 double-sided game boards, 114 tokens, that's a lot of tokens. And we get a brand new set of Nethermaze dice. So we got the nice different colours to what we've had before. So, as we see at the bottom, you build your warband, you select your deck, and then you battle your rivals. It's a game for 2 players. There are rules that you can play multiple players as well, which is good, where you can combine different boards together. Games roughly take about half an hour, and is a suitable game for ages 12 plus. Some assembly is required, but most of these models are easy build. Right, let's crack this box open and see what's inside. Remember to always cut away from you, and we seek adult supervision when using sharp objects. I myself am a fully qualified lunatic, so I don't need any supervision whatsoever. Just angle the camera a bit better. So I've actually not had a Underworlds set since Beastgrave, and that was a long time ago. So this is my first time diving into an actual core set in a very long time. So we've got our rulebook here and the instructions. So it's nice that we've got this in a separate package to the boards, which it always used to be sort of built into one. So that's our boards, our tokens, and our game boards. We've got our dice. So we've got a nice dark blue here, a nice light blue for our combat dice, dark blue for our defense dice, and a nice light lilac purple colours there for our magic dice. That's really nice. I do like that colour scheme. Then we've got our models. So we've got our shadow elves here. We'll take a close look at them just in a sec. And then we've got our lovely little ninja rats. I so can't wait to build these guys. I remember seeing a rumour engine of this here great, and I was like, that's going to be Eshin, and I was right. Extra fluff. And then we got all our cards. Just double checking we're empty. We are empty. Right. So we will have a close-up look at the frames, then we'll go through the cards, boards, and the book. So first off, we've got the Shadeborn here, and I must admit, these guys sold me on the core set before I saw the Skaven. Ever since these guys got released in Warcry, I have been tempted to pick them up and paint them, because these guys really are beautiful models. They absolutely ooze the Dark Elves of old. They manipulate the shadow to get around, which is quite nice, and it just has some wonderful detail. The way the capes almost form into blades and all sorts. It's really quite nice. So we got our leader here with her ritual dagger and her nice cape, which comes up to a staff arm. We got her front torso here with some very delicate chains, so you have to be really careful around those. I mean, I did used to complain about how chunky Games Workshop chains used to be, but man, I much prefer those chunky chains to these really thin, delicate, and easy to lose ones of nowadays. We got the different members. Most of these are assassins. We got a female witch elf here with I believe she's got a spear somewhere. Can't see at the moment. My eyes are gone. There it is. So she's got a spear and then her dagger. That's pretty cool. And we got the one guy here who's crouching with a crossbow. I believe he's actually the wizard of the squad, despite the fact that despite the leader having a staff and looking quite wizarding. And then we have the other assassin who has a nice pair of daggers for stabbing up the enemy. So there we have it. Some really nice detailed models. I'm going to have a lot of joy painting these, I think. I'm going to have to look up some alternate colour schemes, because although the colour scheme that's on the box is nice, I think most of my warbands have been given slightly different colour schemes to what's on the box. So it'll be quite nice to see if I can find some alternates to paint these up. And now we have my absolute favourite of the warbands, Shanks Claw Pack. So Skaven have been sorely under supported in Underworlds. Our one and only warband before this one was the Claw Pack from the first edition of Underworlds, and that was actually the first warband I did buy. I bought the special release bundle, which included the dice and the card sleeves for it back in the day. And I've actually had it twice now, because I got one for a painting project that I'm going to do at some point in the near future to repurpose them from round bases onto square ones and have them as some nice unit leaders and a nice warlord for my Skaven for Old World. But these are really nice. Eshin have not had a new model in a really long time. I think the last time we got a new model, it was the Verminlord kit, and that was 5 different kits in one. Before that, the only other new model we ever got was a brand new Deathmaster Snitch. But these guys are absolutely oozing the Skaven detail. And for finally some updated Clannish and stuff, it's nice that to be thinking that we might get even more in the near future. So we've got our Master Assassin here, who is on a giant pipe. It's really nice how they've done it. It's just levitating over the actual base itself and attached only here. It's really nice. It's nice that we've got a base that's pretty high up for detail. Most of them have been detailed, but like these, fairly flat. It's nice we've got a really high base for a change. But they are pretty much all over the place here. We can't identify them in quite easily, but we can gather by the numbers that one model is here. One of my personal favorites actually is the first one here, 1, 2, and 3, etc. Is the Night Runner, who is jumping over a smoke bomb, which is quite nice. So he's throwing a smoke bomb down and jumping through it, stabbing whoever he's stalking after. And we've got just loads of lovely Eshin detail, and yeah, this set has almost renewed my love for Skaven and Age of Sigmar. All I need now is for them to reveal that we're getting a battle tome soon, and I might take a dive and learn Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. But there we go, some really nice detailed models, as I've said multiple times, but they deserve it. They are so beautiful. But having enough oozing over the models, let's move on, shall we? Okay, next up we've got all our cardboard components for the game boards and tokens. So I'll have a look at the actual tokens themselves. And we've got some really nice objective tokens here. So you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 here. Then our bonus ones over here, plus 2 of the new shadow tokens, which are used by the Dark Elf Warband. And then we've got our scatter token, plenty of glory and wound tokens as well, plus our turn markers and our activation markers. So that, and also we've got our movement, our defense tokens there. And on the side we've got our charge markers, spent glory, generic sort of counter markers here, and the underside of our objectives are just more of those shadow hexes, which is quite nice. So really nice details. Nice that we've got different colours as well for the tokens. They used to be, I think, all just red or yellow, I think it was, and now we've got 2 nice different colours here. So we've got blues and a purple, so that's quite nice. And I am loving the new colour schemes, not colour schemes, colouring for this set's game boards. Couldn't think of the word then. I do love the purples and the blues, it's really quite nice. We've got some nice detail on these objective markers. We've got a cracked open skull with another skull inside it, shattered statue of Cain there, a poor dead Lumineth, and some very evil sort of tokens there. And now we'll have a quick look at the boards. So we get 2 double-sided fold-out boards, and they are really nicely detailed. As I remember from another person's unboxing of this, they've moved the hazardous hexes next to the lethal hexes, as opposed to having them a little bit more further away. But we've still got a nice different spread for our starting hexes. More detail here. I really do love the purple and the greys and the blacks and blues, greens. Also, oh, it's all just really nice and mystical. So that's your first board. Then we got our second board. So this one's leaning more into the blues. We've got a dead sea beast here. There's like a squid of some kind, a giant, or the remains of a giant, should I say. Various different other undersea creatures, a ghost shark there, poor little skeleton there. And then on the other side, we've just got the giant bones of some sort of underwater creature. I do think for a favourite board, I must say I like this one the best. And seconded by this one, which is just loads of different skulls and various different bones and stones. There we go. Right, rulebook next. So we've got our rulebook and our instruction guide. I'll have a quick look at this first. So we've got the members of the Shadow Coven here. Plus one of the Skaven on that side. And over this side we've got the rest of the Skaven. So yeah, that's my favourite model out of the Skaven, I think. Just jumping over that smoke cloud looks really cool and dynamic. And of course we've got our leader here with these paired weeping blades, which is quite nice. I have seen the rules for these guys in Age of Sigmar, and they do look quite nice. It's nice. It's always good to have new Eshin models, because Eshin has been sadly ignored, I think, for a good part of the modern Age of Sigmar game. But on to our rulebook. So we've got the usual sorts. So we got the depths of madness. We got our lore here. So how the I guess this would be how all the Skaven are getting involved, and the Queen Kitan that Morify has deemed needs to be eliminated, so she sent her assassins after her. So we got the details here of the two warbands. So we got the Shadeborn. So when Morify discovered the whereabouts of the seditionists of Uruma Ophal, she summoned one of her most ruthless, effective killers, the Shroud Queen, Slithael. And then we got Skittershank's Clawpack. When tales of Harrowdeep first reached the twitching ears of the agents of Clan Eshin, the race was on amongst the various enclaves of shadowy Skaven assassins to dispatch a kill squad to investigate. So yeah. Definitely going to be painting them as depicted. There isn't much you can do for Eshin, really. It's all blacks and greys and muted browns. So it'd be quite nice to paint them either way. But I'm definitely thinking... I do have a loving for reds and greens, so I might see if there's any alternate colour schemes for these guys. So an introduction gives you the basic overview of what you get. So we've got the objective of the game is to score the most glory and vanquish your enemies, basically. So we've got terminology bar here. So if you come across a word in the rules and you're not sure what it means, refer to the glossary on page 48 to 50. When the word is in bold, it is a keyword. So we've got our cards. We've got our Shadeborn and their deck, our Clawpack and their deck, the Universal cards and the Grand Alliance cards. So then we got our tokens. Like I said, we got our Glory. We get 38 of those, 8 activation tokens, 24 wound tokens, 6 raise tokens, 13 move and charge tokens, 13 guard and stagger tokens. So stagger is a new token for me. We got 2 gloom hex tokens, 1 double-sided scatter token, and then 9 double-sided feature tokens. So most of these are, of course, our 9 objectives, and of course, on the other side, they got more gloom hexes. And finally, we got our 2 double-sided boards. So before we play, we got a nice gallery here of our warbands, and they do look really good. So just a quick dive into your rules here. got an overview of our fighter cards. The Inspire rule, the different traits. So you got a Beast. So these are often creatures you can't buff with upgrades, but you can. They're still a valid member of the team. Flying units, which was introduced, I believe, with the Crimson Court. So they had the one guy with his wings. We've got a leader who obviously has the crown to be your warband's leader, and then wizard symbol with the wand. So decks, rival decks is a fairly new thing to Underworlds, which is basically 12 objectives and 20 cards that are specific to only that warband. You can of course modify this deck to be a more personalized deck using Grand Alliance and Universal cards. But most of the games you play will require you to run the deck as it comes. So make sure you keep your deck lists handy. So we got a rules here, rules page for constructing your own decks. So a power deck must include 20 cards. It can include any number of additional power cards. No more than half the deck can be gambits. Objective deck must include 12 objectives. It can include any number of additional objective cards. It cannot include more than 6 surge objectives. Sounds nice that the objective decks have been swapped around. I'm not sure, but it used to be it could only ever be 12 maximum. It's nice that we can now have a minimum of 12 and more objectives. So it's quite nice to see how things can be changed around. Neither deck can include more than one card of the same name. Each card in both decks must be unique. And of course, you can only include cards that have the warband symbol, the Universal, or the Grand Alliance symbol. So next we got a quick overview of your different types of cards, objectives, upgrades, and gambits, and additional keywords. Just quickly flick through now. So we got the battlefield, how to play a game, how your dice work, more rules on how to set up, your action phase, which is where all the action happens, obviously. So your activation step, your move step, your attack actions, combat sequence, etc. Damaging. And we've got some special rules for attack actions. Optional actions you can do, guard, charge, spell actions. And of course, after the action step, it's a power step, where you get to play your power cards and even play your upgrades if you've got glory to spend. So rules on modifiers and scattering, how to do reactions, your end phase, and you'll play on for rounds 2, 3, and victory. So you got the rules for multiplayer games, so you can either have them set up like this, like that, or like that. Pretty sure you can do it any other way you want, as long as you have edges all matching up nicely, I think. So we've got some more order of play rules here and how you do your turn. And then finally we got our glossary. And the titles for our boards. So we've got the Inevitable Morass, the Tortured Coil, the Oblivion's Pillar, and the Abyssal Depths. Very nice. And we've got our handy reference section on the back. Okay, we'll have a quick look then at dice. Just your standard Underworlds dice, but I really do love the colours. I think I might be using these as my personal set of dice for Underworlds. But if I ever do get hold of a translucent green set, I think I might be using them for my Skaven warbands. I'd love a translucent purple set for just just because purple's my favourite colour. I think that'd be really nice to have. But yeah, we got our magic dice, our defense dice, and our attack dice. There we have those. I will not run through all the cards. I will go through quickly the fighter cards. If you would like me to go through the cards, please leave a comment below and I may do a video on those separately. So first off, we've got the Shadeborn Rivals deck. So open this when you play your first game. This pack includes fighter cards, power deck and objective deck for the Shadeborn. So we've got Drusilla Viscerax here, very brutal name. So she's an assassin with a move of 4. She rolls dodges for her defense and she has 3 wounds. So she's got a glaive and dagger, which attacks up to 2 hexes away, 3 attack dice, and 2 damage. So this fighter makes an attack action that targets the enemy fighter with 1 or more wounds. It will inspire. And she has the Shadow Mark rule, so you can reroll 1 dice to this fighter's defense rolls while this fighter is in a cover hex. Then her inspired version, she rolls 2 dice on defense, needing dodges, and then she's got the Whirling Blades. It's quite nice, a little extra one. So only range 1, 2 attack dice, requiring hammers, and 1 damage, but you have Grievous and Scything, which is nice, added a bonus. So we got our leader here, which is Stifil Shadestalker. She can fly, and she is obviously the leader. Movement of 4, defense of 2, and 4 wounds. So she's got the details for the malleable special rule. So in the declare action step, pick cleave and snare. This attack action has this ability. Then she has the Shadow Ambush, which is which I believe is common across quite a few. Oh no, Shadow Mark is common across all of them. So, but Shadow Ambush, when this fighter starts a charge action in a cover or edge hex that is not a starting hex, they can resolve the move action of that charge action by placing this fighter in another cover or edge hex. So this is what I mean by they make use of the shadows and move around very quickly. So it's a very nice lightning fast warband. I think these might slowly become one of my top favourites. Then we got her empowered version, so nothing much different, just a little bit extra more on her Shadowstone weapons. Then we got Silark Greyblood, who is our magic user of the warband. He's got Cruel Blade and a Repeater Handbow. He's got a spell action of Dark Lamprey. So if cast, you choose 1 enemy fighter with no wound counters within 4 hexes and deal 1 single damage to that fighter. And they must also be in and/or in a cover hex as well. Then we've got the Shadow Mark special rule as well. So he's got single defense, 4 move, and 3 wounds. Uninspired, then inspired, he's got 2 defense. And other than that, everything else remains the same. Though he's Repeater Handbow does gain ensnare. And finally we got Valisa Umbrell. So she's got a movement of 4, dodge 1, and 3 wounds. She's got her double blades, and she has the flurry rule reaction. After this fighter's successful attack action with combo, make this attack action. So when she makes an attack with her Shadestalker dagger, she can make a puncturing follow-up attack. And then she gets Cleave and Grievous added to her other weapons when she inspires, and she gets an extra point of defense as well. And then we got some lovely cards. I do like the new styler cards, how we've got a much larger area of artwork. It's quite nice. It's really nice to see. And oh, some of these are really spooky looking. That's gruesome. Okay, We are getting on quite a bit, so I'll have to make this quick, as quick as I can. So now we're going to have a look at Skittershank's cards. So we got Creep Kin Whisper even. Movement of 5, dodge of 2, 3 wounds, and he's got his Trifang Triskele and a net. So you've got the Barb's reaction. After this attack action, if succeeded, give the target 1 net counter. After a fighter with 1 or more net counters makes a move, deal 1 damage to that fighter, then remove those net counters. At the end of the round, clear all net counters. And so they inspire when 1 or more enemy leaders are out of action, and or this fighter makes an attack action that targets an enemy leader. There's the same inspire condition, I think, for all of them. Yes. So they really want to focus on the enemy leaders. And inspiring, we've got Grievous added to our Triskele and net. Other than that, he is much the same. Crouch, who is a minion, not a very important character, apparently. Poor guy. So he's got a Blade of Tonfa and a dagger, movement of 5, dodge of 1 and 2 wounds. And he gets a second dodge. Again, he's inspired. Snip Padpaw, who's an assassin. So he's got a sword and fighting claw. So he's my the favourite one that I like with the smoke bombs. So he's got range of 1, 3 attacks, 2 damage on his fighting claw and sword. So he's got the Mark to Death, so we'll have that's on Slink's profile. Then we have smoke bombs, so reaction, use this after this fighter's activation. If you do, stagger each enemy adjacent to this fighter. Then inspiring, he just gets Grievous and Cleave added to his weapons. Our leader here, Slink Skittershank, who's the Master Assassin. 5 movement, 2 dodge and 4 wounds, and he has a pair of Weeping Blades, which are range 1, 3 attacks and 2 damage with Grievous. So we have the Marked for Death rule here on this card. You can reroll 1 attack dice if the attack roll for this fighter's attack actions target an enemy leader. And then inspired, oops, no new stats, but his Weeping Blades move up to 4. So he's going to be a pretty deadly opponent. And finally we have Skulk, who is another minion. Movement of 5, dodge of 1 and 2 wounds. He has a sling, which is a range of 3, hits for 2 requiring hammers, and has only a single point of damage. He does get an extra shot when he is inspired, and he also gains the stagger rule. So that's quite nice. So he's our ranged unit. Other than that, everybody else is pretty close combat orientated. And then we've got, again, some rather nice artworks on the cards. I'm going to have a pretty good look at those later on, I think. That's nice. But yeah, very unfortunate, but very Skaven looking. Quite nice, these are. But there we have it. I'll just bring everything in and we will have a final thought. So there we have our unboxing and slight in-depth review of the Warhammer Underworlds Nethermaze core set. So before my final thoughts, the RRP for this value set is £65. You can, of course, save by using my affiliate link for Curtain Games and or checking your friendly local gaming store. Value-wise, I think it's a good set. We are likely to see these guys come out in a cheaper set, I think 6 months down the line, much like the warbands from Harrowdeep have just done. They've come out in the Champions of Harrowdeep set, and you basically get the 2 warbands plus all the cards for those warbands. So I won't be surprised when we get the next Underworld starter set in 6 months' time that we see these two come out on their own. Or not on their own, but in a separate bundle that you can easily pick up without buying all you need, your boards. But I'm always happy to have extras, especially when we've got some glorious colour schemes to look at. And you do get these awesome models. So they are exclusive to this set, which is a bonus point for buying it. So, yeah. Final thoughts then. It's good. It's another good Underworld starter set. As I was just mentioning, the life expectancy now for their core sets, I believe, has moved to 6 months, if I remember rightly from the other unboxing of this I've watched. And basically we're going to be seeing a new core set every 6 months and not as many warbands released as we used to. Because I believe when we had Beastgrave and its follow-on set, I've forgotten the name of now. But we had a good amount of different warbands released after the core set, before the next core set came out. Now, like I said, we're in the 6 month window for each core set. The core set will be out and we'll get, I think it's like 2 or 3 other warbands, one released with the core set and then one released each 2 months each afterwards. So we have the Undead warband released alongside this core set. If you'd like to see me review that, please get in touch with the comment section down below and I will see what I can do. So I think I've blabbered enough. I've definitely blabbered too much about how beautiful those Skaven models are and how beautiful the artwork is throughout the entire set. So I will wrap up. Yes, good set. Definitely get it if you like Underworlds. Get it even more if you like Skaven and all of the new Shadow Elves. I like both. So, thank you very much for watching. If you've made it all the way through to the end, even more thank you. 2 thumbs up for you. Be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you'd like to help the channel out, there's my affiliate link for Curtain Games, my Buy Me a Coffee channel, my social medias and my eBay page. So, this has been Merlin. I'm quite mad about gaming, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.